Welcome back to our Python learning series. Today, we are starting a very important topic, and that is strings. So what are strings? Where do we use them? Why are they important? Strings are everywhere. When you type a message, when you write your name, when an app shows a notification, when a website displays text. All of this is made of strings. Understanding strings is important because in almost every program you write, you will work with text at some point. Sometimes you will read text, sometimes you will clean text, sometimes you will extract part of it, sometimes you will modify it. So in this episode, we will understand strings slowly, step by step, what they are, how Python stores them, how we take characters out of them, how slicing works, and how simple built-in tools help us clean, format, and analyze strings. Let us begin. What are strings? A string is simply a sequence of characters. Characters can be letters, characters can be digits, characters can be symbols. Even a space is a character. Whenever you place something inside quotation marks, Python treats it as a string. So the word hello is a string. Your name is a string. Your phone number, when typed as text, is also a string. You can think of a string like a chain made of small pieces. Each piece is one character. All the pieces together form the full string. Understanding this simple idea makes it easier to work with strings. Indexing in strings. Now let us understand indexing. Indexing means accessing characters using their positions. Python starts counting from 0, so the first character is at position 0, the second is at position 1, the third is at position 2. For example, if the string is hello, the positions look like this: H at 0, E at 1, L at 2, L at 3, O at 4. Why is this useful? Because sometimes you need just one character. Sometimes you want to check the first letter, sometimes the last letter. Indexing makes it easy to pick exactly the character you want. Negative indexing. Python also allows negative indexing. Negative indexing means counting from the end. The last character is at position -1. The second last is at position -2, and so on. This is very useful when you want something from the end of a string and you do not know the length. For example, if you want the last letter of any name or the last character of a file extension. Negative indexing makes these tasks simple. Slicing strings. Now let us learn slicing. Slicing means taking a small part out of a full string. You choose a starting position. You choose an ending position. Python gives you everything between those two positions. Remember one simple rule: the starting index is included, the ending index is not included. For example, if the string is Python and you slice from 0 to 3, you get P, Y, and T. The position 3 is not included. Slicing is very helpful. You can extract names, you can extract dates, you can take only the first few characters, you can take only the last few characters, you can break a sentence into smaller pieces. All of this is possible with slicing. String methods. Python gives many built-in tools to work with strings. These tools are called string methods. There are methods to convert everything to lowercase, methods to convert everything to uppercase, methods to remove extra spaces, methods to replace words, methods to check if something exists inside the text, methods to count how many times a letter appears. These methods make working with strings much easier. So instead of writing long logic, you simply use a method and Python does the work for you. Now let us take a real example so you can clearly understand how indexing and slicing actually work. The string we're going to use is Gyanvah Learning. You can imagine this as the name of your brand or the title of your course. First, let us look at this string carefully. It has two words, Gyanvah and learning. There is also a space between the two words, and that space is also treated as a character in the string. Python stores this entire text as one long sequence, character by character, from left to right. Each character gets its own position. Let us slowly walk through the indexing. G is at position 0, Y is at position 1, A is at position 2, N is at position 3, V is at position 4, A is at position 5, H is at position 6. Now comes the space. The space is at position 7. Then the word learning starts, L at position 8, E at position 9, A at position 10, R at position 11, N at position 12, close it about, I at position 13, N at position 14, G at position 15. So this gives us a complete picture of how Python sees the string internally. Letter by letter, position by position. Now let us try to access some characters. If we want the first letter, we use position 0. Python will give us G. If we want the fourth letter, we use position 3. Python will give us N. If we want the space between the words, we use position 7. Python will give us that space. This helps us understand how powerful indexing is. We can pick any character based on its position. Hashtag using negative indexing. Now let us do the same thing from the end. Negative indexing begins from the last character. The last character G is at position -1. The second last character N is at -2. The third last character I is at -3. If we use position -1, Python gives us G. If we use position -5, Python gives us R. Negative indexing becomes very useful when you want something from the end but do not know the length of the string. Slicing the string Gyanvah. Let us now work with the shorter version of the string. Gyanvah. This string is simple, so slicing becomes easier to understand. G is at position 0, Y is at 1, A is at 2, N is at 3, V is at 4, A is at 5, H is at 6. Now let's try slicing. If we slice from 0 to 3, Python gives us G, Y, and A. It gives us characters from 0 to 2. Position 3 is not included. If we slice from 0 to 5, Python gives us Gyanvah. Again, the last index is not included. If we slice from 3 to the end, Python gives us NVAH, because we started at position 3 and continued until the string ended. We can also slice using negative positions. If we slice from -3 to the end, Python gives us AH. Actually, it gives us the last 3 characters starting from the third last one. This is helpful when you want the ending portion of a word. Extracting words from Gyanvah Learning. Now let us do a meaningful task with our full string. We want to extract the first word and then extract the second word. The first word is Gyanvah. We know that it ends at position 6. So if we slice from 0 to 7, we get Gyanvah. This is because position 7 is the space, and slicing stops just before it. Now let us extract the second word, learning. We know that learning starts at position 8, so if we slice from 8 to the end, we get learning. This is how slicing helps you break larger strings into smaller parts. In real-world applications, this is extremely useful. For example, splitting full names into first name and last name, extracting dates from a timestamp, getting the extension of a file name, taking only the first few characters for display, and so much more. Using a real-world problem. Now let us imagine a practical scenario. Suppose you are building a learning platform, and every course title contains 2 parts, the brand name and the course type. For example, Gyanvah Learning, Gyanvah Python, Gyanvah Web Development. You want to take only the course type, meaning the part that comes after the space. How do we do that? We find the index of the space. We slice everything after that index. Python gives us only the course name. This small technique is used everywhere. When extracting usernames, when cleaning email addresses, when formatting display messages, when handling user input, working with strings is one of the most essential skills in programming. Now let us take our example string again. The string is Gyanvah Learning, and let us understand how Python's string methods can help us work with this text easily. String methods are small built-in tools. They help us clean text. They help us modify text. They help us search inside text, and they help us format text in a neat way. Let us understand them one by one using our string. Converting text to lowercase. Sometimes text comes in mixed cases. Some letters are capital, some letters are small. If we want everything in lowercase, Python provides a method for that. When we convert Gyanvah Learning into lowercase, it becomes Gyanvah Learning. Every single character that has an uppercase form becomes lowercase. This is extremely useful when you want to compare text because lowercase comparison is always consistent. Converting text to uppercase. Now let us try the opposite. If we convert the entire text to uppercase, Gyanvah Learning becomes Gyanvah Learning. All the characters are transformed to their capital form. This is useful when you want text to stand out, or when you want headings, or when you want data to appear in a uniform style. Removing extra spaces. Sometimes when users type text, they add unwanted spaces, maybe at the beginning, maybe at the end, sometimes even in the middle. Python provides methods to remove extra spaces. If the string has spaces before or after the sentence, the method cleans it. Your text becomes neat. This is very important when handling user input because extra spaces can break your logic. and shep. Finding if a word exists inside the string, now let us check if a specific word is inside our string. For example, we might want to check whether the word learning is present. Python gives us a method to search for the word. If the word exists, Python tells us the position where it appears. If it does not, Python tells us it is not found. This is useful when you want to validate text, when you want to analyze text, or when you want to filter data based on certain keywords. Replacing part of the string. Now let us try replacing something. Suppose we want to change learning to education. Python has a replace method for this. When we apply it, the string becomes Gyanvah education. This is very useful when you want to update text dynamically. Maybe you want to fix spelling mistakes. Maybe you want to change branding. Maybe you want to personalize text for the user. Replacing is one of the most common operations you will use. Counting how many times a letter appears. Sometimes you want to know how many times a character appears in a string. For example, if we want to count how many times the letter A appears in Gyanvah Learning, Python gives us a method that counts it for us. This is useful in analysis tasks, useful in text scanning, useful in data cleaning, useful in pattern detection. Splitting the string into separate words. Now, one of the most useful methods is splitting. Splitting breaks a string into smaller pieces based on a separator. Most commonly, we split using a space. When we split Gyanvah Learning, we get two pieces, Gyanvah Learning. Python returns these pieces inside a list. This helps us work with each word separately. This is important when handling full names, important when processing sentences, important when analyzing user comments, important when working with large files where each line contains multiple values. Joining text together. After splitting, sometimes we want to join text again. Python provides a method for that as well. We can join words with spaces, or with hyphens, or with commas, or with anything we like. This gives you total control over formatting. Summary of string methods. So with just one string, Gyanvah Learning, we learned many powerful tools. Lowercase conversion, uppercase conversion, removing extra spaces, searching inside the string, replacing text, counting characters, splitting into smaller parts, and joining text again. These methods save a lot of time. You do not have to write long code. One single method handles everything for you. And this is why strings are one of the most powerful data types in Python. And that brings us to the end of our episode on Python strings. Today we learned one of the most important parts of programming, understanding and working with text. We started by understanding what strings are. We saw how Python stores them character by character. We explored indexing. We learned how to access characters from the beginning. We learned how to access characters from the end. Then we moved to slicing, and we understood how to extract small pieces from larger strings. After that, we explored string methods. We converted text to lowercase. We converted text to uppercase. We removed unwanted spaces. We searched for words. We replaced words. We counted characters. We split text, and we joined text back together. Using the string Gyanvah Learning, we saw how each of these techniques works in real life. You now have the ability to clean text, format text, analyze text, and pull out the exact parts you need. Strings are everywhere. Every message, every name, every label, every input from the user, everything you see on a screen, all of it uses strings. So mastering this concept is a huge step forward in your Python journey. In the next episode, we will take everything we have learned so far and use it to build small, real-world projects. These projects will connect all concepts together: loops, conditions, functions, strings, and logic building. This will help you understand how real programs are actually written. Thank you so much for watching and learning with me. Keep practicing, keep exploring, and keep improving one step at a time. I will see you in the next episode. Take care.